Hello there, I'm Thomas Dolby, and here are my top 5 tips for how to compose music for love scenes in a movie score.
Oh, me.
She speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel.
Oh, Romeo, Romeo. Wherefore art thou, Romeo?
Romance is one of the 4 pillars of the Hollywood storytelling genre, along with excitement, suspense, and heroism. If you're lucky enough to get hired as a composer on a film, unless it's a documentary, chances are you're going to need to write some love scene music. That may instantly make you groan and think of happy, syrupy major scale melodies and 1-4-5 chord progressions. Actually, in the movies, love is never a bed of roses. Perhaps it's a love that was never meant to be, a doomed love driven by a self-destructive obsession. Whether it's the relationship itself or dark forces outside their control. Or a defiant affair between a beautiful heiress and a penniless artist.
The last thing I need is another picture of me looking like a porcelain doll. As a paying customer, I expect to get what I want.
Or perhaps it's a soft love scene that serves as a brief respite from non-stop brutal action.
Wait, I don't need any help.
You do. Not the man I knew 10 years ago.
It's not the years, honey. It's the mileage. You know what? Please, I don't need a nurse. I just want to
He's
sleep.
such a baby.
Marion, leave me.
How's this here?
Go, Ray. Yes. It hurts. Ow.
Well, goddamn it, anywhere doesn't it hurt?
Here. Here. This is too bad.
Jones. Jones?
Or a forbidden tryst between a flawed human and the perfect replicant that he is under contract to terminate. Romance scenes are scored very differently from sex scenes. Is there an erotic subtext you need to bring out? It should be obvious, but if not, ask the director. There's usually something else more overarching going on in the plot.
They're gone. They're all gone. Do you know what today is?
No, what?
Today is tomorrow. It happened. You're here.
I'm here. Oh, Phil, why weren't you like this last night? You just fell asleep.
It was the end of a very long day. Is there anything I can do for you today?
I'm sure I could think of something.
How's that for a pervious song?
You're killing me.
I just wish that it had lasted more than a week.
Me too.
Sometimes the music tells us that our characters are meant to be together, even when everything on the screen says otherwise.
You know, the life I had before you, I knew how to do that. I could do that forever. But now look at me. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do with all this? Taxi?
Erica, can you wait just a second? The truth is, I don't know how to be a boyfriend.
That's what you have to say after all of this, that you don't know how to be a boyfriend?
It's not a small thing.
Are we done?
I don't know.
Oh my God!
It was lovely to meet you. Bye now.
This young couple appear to be the only ones on the planet who don't realize they're about to fall in love.
Look, that's not until later. So, if you wanted to, we could go for a walk or something.
Okay.
But the composer picks this moment to introduce a memorable theme that we will return to many times later in the film.
Come on, keep up.
These shoes, I got mountain climbing broke.
It's not K2, it's just a big hill, all right? A child could do it.
I don't want you thinking I'm bothered or anything about last night. I don't want your phone number, or letters, or postcards. I don't want to get married to you. Definitely don't want to have your babies. Whatever happens tomorrow, we've had today.
And if we should bump into each other sometime in the future, well, that's fine too.
Hey, could we afford a taxi?
Sure. Where do you want to go?
The hospital?
The movie Love Story came out in 1970 and it was adapted from a #1 best-selling novel, so the hero is the only one clinging to a belief that there will be a happy ending, while the whole audience knows the heroine is going to die of cancer. But even if we know they're doomed from the start, we still want to believe in the healing power of true love.
What if something happens to you?
Hear this now. I will always come for you.
But how can you be sure?
This is true love. Think this happens every day?
One thing you'll notice is that despite the differing storylines, most of these scenes are musically very similar. Let's list some of these similarities. Regardless of the plot, there's always tenderness and compassion. We want to believe these characters will fall in love, even if the dialogue and action tell us otherwise. The music usually enters a little way into the scene at a key moment when feelings are strong. A realization, a gesture, a declaration, a surprise. The music then runs to the end of the scene and may even spill over into the next. It's mostly in a minor key, reflecting the adversity the characters face, but it often leans towards or arrives at the relative major at the climax. It's often non a tempo, in other words, it hesitates, it stops and starts, and it sort of feels its way in, reflecting two people still shy and unsure of each other. If there are strings, they're very legato and played with emotion, espressivo, rather than wild abandon. There's no percussion, spiccatos, stabs, or loud stingers. Steer clear of ostinatos or anything clock-like. Love is timeless after all. If there's piano, it's also very legato, played gently, arpeggiated or splayed chords with lots of sustain pedal. Flute, clarinet, oboe, acoustic guitar or solo violin are effective, but it can be hard to make them sound natural with MIDI. Harps, French horns, tremolos, gentle pizzicatos, these all express tenderness and empathy. By all means, use typical major 1-4-5 minor 6th type chord sequences, but avoid simple triads. Instead, use inversions, suspensions, extended chords, and melodies with non-chord notes in order to keep it reaching and emotionally ambiguous. Learn to layer your chords.
Why do you help me?
Make sure you don't step on the dialogue, which is probably very quiet.
Why do you help me?
Because of the way you are looking at me now.
Until the kiss, and then they have to shut up, so now's the time to swell the music. If it's a recurring love theme, you should usually introduce it small and then expand it when the camera goes big. A large orchestra will attract attention to the grandeur of the scenery. This is sometimes a good thing when the dialogue is weak.
Why did you hate me?
What?
Don't you know you drove everybody mad?
Shh. Don't talk.
You speak so many bloody languages and you never want to talk.
Even an epic orchestra can't rescue a stinker like the English Patient.
You're wearing the thimble.
Of course. You idiot. I always wear it. I've always worn it. I've always loved you.
You're wearing the thimble. So here are my top 5 tips for scoring a love scene. Number 1, decide if it's underscore, i.e. just setting the mood, or is this your big memorable love theme? Number 2, consider where we are in the arc of the story. The first glimmer of love is very different from the grand romantic finale. Number 3, what's the setting? Match your instrumentation to the location and the lens. If we're in a kitchen or in bed, stick to solo or minimal instruments, not the whole orchestra. Unless, of course, we're in a panoramic landscape, then it's the great epic love of the ages. Number 4, what else is going on? There may be subtext from the more serious aspects of the story.
They're gone.
Number 5, where will this scene leave them? Are they still in the flirty stage? Are they torn apart? Deeper in love? Bound to each other? Or are they up shit creek? So now I would like to walk you through my thought process as I rescore a scene from this 2014 movie, A Winter's Tale, which stars Colin Farrell and Jessica Brown Findlay. Caveat, I own no rights to this clip, which I found on YouTube. It was originally scored by Hans Zimmer, but I'm sure Hans and Warner Brothers won't mind if I rescore it for purely educational purposes. Peter is a petty thief working for a gang of Irish hoodlums. Beverly is an heiress whose father's house he was supposed to burgle, and she is dying from a terminal disease. He falls for her, and he rescues her from the gang's clutches, and on the run, he takes her for a walk in the woods to help cool her fever.
It's not working, is it? You're not getting any cooler.
No.
Here, let me try something. Come here.
Actually, this isn't helping.
Can you hear your heart?
When the fever comes, it's about the only thing I can hear.
When you go to crack your first safe, your heart beats so loud you can't hear the tumblers. And you have to learn to quieten it, slow it down, so you can work between the beats. The trick to it is lists. Meaningless words. You say as you exhale to slow down the breath. Inhale quietly. Exhale and say the words until the breath is gone. Get it?
I think so.
Okay. Do you need a list? Animals are good, colours, saints.
Castor. Pollux. Capella. Ursa Major. Ursa Minor. Polaris. Peter. It's working.
So, how to approach this scene? Well, before I write a note, I'm going to go back to my 5 questions. Number 1, Is it underscore or the big love theme? It's the couple's first time alone, and I'm planning to use this scene to introduce a 5-note piano motif, an earworm that's going to develop into the love theme later in the movie. Number 2, where are we in the arc of the story? They're still unsure of each other and they've not yet declared their love, but they're taking a big risk being together. So I'm looking at suspended chords, hesitation, varying between light and shade. Number 3, what's the setting? It's a magical frozen forest, hence I'm looking for icy crystalline sounds and inner warmth. Piano, harp, bell tree, a few tremolo violins, cellos and a French horn for warmth. Number 4, what else is going on? Well, she's dying, which suggests a tragic Aeolian mode, but there's also a chance he has the magic to save her, which suggests a more intriguing Dorian. Also, this is a forbidden love. They're on opposite sides, like Romeo and Juliet or Leo and Kate. So I might just flip between major and minor. Number 5, where will this leave them? By the end, they touch and their love is confirmed. There's more than a glimmer of hope, but it's going to be a tough road. So I will give the scene a gentle, happy letdown, but leave a few question marks. I might just run the video a few times while improvising on the piano to see if any ideas materialize. I've got this idea for a 5-note motif that I think might work rather nicely. I find that by pedaling on an A, I can twist my motif around into different configurations that will match the different moods and emotions of the scene. We're waiting to see if the magic will work. And next, I run it a few times with the picture to see how I can make my motif conform to the structure of the scene. James Horner was famous for writing entire scores this way in a matter of days. I make some notes for myself on the key emotional moments. If I was spotting this with the director, Akiva Goldsman, he would certainly point these out to me as he did with the actors.
Pollux. Capella.
I enter them into my Logic workstation as markers.
Ursa Minor.
I like to imagine what the audience is feeling at a given moment.
Polaris.
Or what we'd like them to feel. They're thinking, it's working. I record a decent take of it, then I go in and fine-tune it by varying the tempo or moving notes around, and I also take another look at the harmonic voicing.
When the fever comes, it's about the only thing I can hear.
When you go to crack your first safe.
I duplicate my piano track with a soft pad. This makes the piano more dreamy if I sustain the notes, and more poignant if I increase the velocity. I can edit the pad to enhance the piano and even use it as an intro before the piano comes in.
Actually, this isn't helping.
Can you hear your heart?
I decide I'm going to use harp to add the magical element to the scene.
Inhale quietly. Exhale and say the words until the breath is gone.
I play in some harp arpeggios.
Okay.
They're very impressionistic, but they can also add an interesting modal shift.
Costa.
Now I add my strings. The string entry matches the moment where Peter starts to believe the magic is working.
Costa. Pollux. Capella. Ursa major. Ursa minor. Polaris.
The strings gently grow and expand the piece, but early on I stick to tremolos. I move to legatos later for the ending.
It's working.
Go on.
Pleiades.
And here's a French horn to represent the hope that Beverly might be cured.
Ursa minor. Polaris.
Its first phrase is solo, then on the second phrase it's joined by two more.
Go on.
Pleiades.
The final touch is a bell tree.
Perseus.
I use this to pick out a ray of starlight that you may not otherwise have noticed.
Cassiopeia.
I want to make the ending positive and optimistic, but with unfinished business, so instead of a perfect major 1 chord, I suspend it with a strong second and a weak tonic. I hope you've enjoyed this insight into my composing process. It's not the only way to score a scene, but hopefully there'll be some good ideas here that will help you with your own composition. See ya.
It's not working, is it? You're not getting any cooler.
No.
Here, let me try something. Come here.
Actually, this isn't helping.
Can you hear your heart?
When the fever comes, it's about the only thing I can hear.
When you go to crack your first safe, your heart beats so loud you can't hear the tumblers. And you have to learn to quieten it, slow it down, so you can work between the beats. The trick to it is lists. Meaningless words. You say as you exhale to slow down the breath. Inhale quietly. Exhale and say the words until the breath is gone. Get it?
I think so.
Okay. Do you need a list? Animals are good, colours, saints.
Castor. Pollux. Capella. Ursa major. Ursa minor. Polaris. It's working.
Go on.
Pleiades. Perseus.